Today, the 16th of March, marks about a month and 5 days since convener for the Fix the Country movement was picked up at the Kotoka International Airport. Now, after being picked up, he was brought before the Ashaiman District Court and charged with treason felony. Now, his lawyers have argued that, well, they believe that that court was not appropriate, as that court cannot grant him bail. Now, they went all the way to the Supreme Court, but today they are at the Tema High Court to more or less hear judgment on his application for bail. Now, today we do expect that the judge would announce a judgment or would pass a judgment on the application for bail for Oliver Barker-Vormawor. Now, that is Oliver Barker-Vormawor in your shot, getting out of the vehicle that brought him to court, and like most days or like previous appearances that he has made in court, specifically the Ashaiman District Court, the whole place is heavily guarded with policemen armored, basically wearing their gear, basically to keep calm and peace. You're watching the City Newsroom as we bring you today's proceedings, and we will report as to whether or not he has been granted bail or if his bail has been denied. All right, so the judge, bail has been granted. Bail has been granted. And in the background you can hear supporters of Oliver Barker-Vormawor singing joyously, knowing that the convener of their movement has been granted bail by the Tema High Court. The conditions for the bail are 2 million Ghana cedis with 2 sureties, with one individual expected to present documents showing. And there he goes. He's about to be moved into the vehicle that brought him, the armored vehicle. And today, the hopes of many of his supporters have been granted. He's been granted bail, and there you have him with his jacket being moved into the vehicle that brought him, with his supporters chanting in the background. We are all involved. And there he goes. And his supporters are being urged to calm down as proceedings are ongoing. We're going to do well to speak to. Yeah.
If you are saying you thank God and you behave in a certain way, the bail can be rescinded. You know that. The court can come and rescind the bail. So if you are happy he has been granted bail, conduct yourself well.
Honorable, I'm just basically, for you, I mean, how important is it that he's been granted bail today, sir?
No, this is what is expected in a democratic republic, that the accused person is innocent until proven guilty, and that is entitled to bail with conditions, and that is what the court did. So justice has been well served.
And what should we expect from now, sir?
Nothing. What do you expect? Everything is in the ball of the prosecution. When they are ready for trial, we'll be ready for them.
So there you had a lead lawyer for Oliver Barker-Vormawor, basically cautioning supporters to conduct themselves as the bail that has been granted can be rescinded. And he basically says that yes, justice has been served, and they are essentially ready for a trial to continue.
We thank God for all that has happened. We thank God that He have granted bail. That's all that we have been expecting and we have been waiting for so far. So today, we thank God that the judges have granted him bail, and we are all excited we are all excited because what is going on in the country, we are not expecting it to go so far this way. But we are overexcited because one of our own is in. We can't go on with our activities without him.
What then is the way forward? The trial itself has not commenced, and he has to meet the conditions for the bill as well.
Yeah, he will meet it, and he have meet it. That is why they've granted him the bill.
The FPU armored truck leaving the premises of the Tema High Court, along with other land cruisers and pickup trucks of the Ghana Police Service with their policemen in your shot. All of them here for today's particular case involving Oliver Barker-Vormawor. So the ruling of the judge for today's session in court at the Tema High Court is that bail for Oliver Barker-Vormawor has been granted. Now, to get details as to what the arguments were from both sides, the conditions from the bill, and all other related matters, my colleague Sixtus Dong Ulo will be joining me to basically tell us what transpired in court as he was there.
While the team for Mr. Barker-Vormawor was arguing that if you look at the facts of the case as set out by the prosecution itself, those facts do not support the charge of treason felony that the state is intending or bringing against Mr. Barker-Vormawor. And so on the basis of that and provisions of Act 60, since the charge cannot be sustained, he is entitled to bail. That's one of the arguments. Again, they have said that in response to arguments made by the state that Mr. Barker-Vormawor does not have a fixed place of abode in Accra or in Ghana, they have argued that it is not the case. Indeed, Justice Mensah himself referred in his ruling to accounts of Mr. Barker-Vormawor, which account indicated that he had taken the police to 3 different places of abode or residence that are affiliated to him. And the justice said that there was no indication from the prosecution that any of the 3 places that had been mentioned indeed did not or was not affiliated to Mr. Vormawor. The other argument that has been made by the prosecution, which argument also formed a basis for this particular ruling, was that Mr. Barker-Vormawor is a person who is at flight risk. The court took notice of, again, facts of the case which showed that Mr. Vormawor's passport is already in the custody of the state. And yes, Mr. Vormawor is a student at Cambridge University, but without that passport, he's unable to travel out of the jurisdiction or into the United Kingdom, where he's currently studying. And so, again, the argument of he being at flight risk was dismissed by the judge. And eventually, that was the pronouncement that Justice Mensah made. 2 million Ghana cedis, 2 sureties. One of those sureties is to deposit documents to a landed property, and the passports of Mr. Barker-Vormawor should remain in the custody of the Republic, and Mr. Barker-Vormawor should report once a week, a day that would be agreed upon to the police command.
Now, there's been talk of possibility of the bill being rescinded. What will be the condition? Is it that if it doesn't meet the conditions set out, then the bill then will be rescinded?
Is with Mr. Vormawor meeting the conditions of the bill. So the court has granted you bail and set conditions for that bill. It is your responsibility to meet the conditions that have been set. Now, if you fail to meet those conditions, then, of course, you cannot go. But our informal, casual interactions with the legal team for Mr. Vormawor indicate that, indeed, they will be working towards the meeting of those conditions.
He has been granted bail. What is the way forward? What should we expect to see? I mean, with respect to the charge that has been brought against him, which is treason felony itself.
Now, this is merely a ruling, meaning that it has nothing to do with, it hasn't touched on the substantive matter. So what it simply means is that Mr. Vormawor will no longer remain in police cells. He will be released, he will go to his house, he will be with his wife, his family, and be attending to the court from the house. So he cannot miss that once a week reporting to the police condition. He cannot. That is when he eventually meets the conditions and he's released. But it simply means that he will go home and he will be attending to the court from home.
So what happens to the substantive case itself?
Well, that is where the legal team will take it from. Yeah.
Thank you so much. 6 News Dong Olo, our court correspondent here at the Tema High Court, basically explaining to us what transpired in court, what went into the bail application that was granted today, and the fact that, yes, indeed, today, if he is able to meet the bail conditions, he will walk away from being in police custody to the comfort of his home. You're still watching the City Newsroom.